and I'm co-CEO of AphA. I'm here just to really introduce Hugh, and so he can talk to you today about Data Observatory. Obviously, this is one of our regular lunch and learn sessions. And don't forget, on the AphA website, we have these every fortnight. So go into the events page and you can see what's coming up. The session is being recorded, and the recording will be saved on the AphA website, so you can go back and have a look, or point your colleagues, your member colleagues, to go in and have a listen if you think it's, pertinent to what they might want to hear. So I am going to pass over to Hugh, who is CEO of the Data Observatory, a new think tank about all things analytics SMEs from within our community and what they are aiming to achieve. So before I just talk rubbish and go off track, I will pass you over to Hugh, and he can do a full introduction and talk to you about the Data Observatory, and I will go on mute.
Fabulous. Thank you, Jane. You never go off track. Well, welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining up and being interested in what we want to achieve with the Data Observatory. It's something that is massively close to my heart, as you'd imagine. A little bit about me. I run my own management consultancy. Some of you may know me, where I am an advocate and supporter of the professionalization of data within health and care. It is crazy to me that the data profession isn't regarded as on a par with almost with clinicians when it comes to health and care. I think the work that is done within data is vital to ensure that the NHS lasts into the future. Without using data, I don't think it can for a second. So I've been doing that now since 2018. I've been working with the NHS since 2000. So yeah, 26 years. I know I started when I was 3. Working with AphA since I set up my own business as well. Helping with the commercials for that and the Chief Data and Analytics Officer Network. Some of you may know me from taking the lead on the development of the National Competency Framework, and wonderful to have me old comrade in Donna on the call as well. Many a bullet we dodged together. However, I work very closely with Jane and Emma's predecessor, Ronnie Arafin, when he was CEO of AphA and in his full-time job as well. And we always threatened to work together. And unfortunately, Ronnie came up with the Data Observatory before I did, which annoyed me intensely because it was such a good one. And fundamentally, we are in a position now where we can actually make a difference to how the NHS operates, I believe. So without further ado, I will go into my very brief little slideshow, which is annoyingly on PDF rather than anything else, to give you a bit of detail as to how we intend to operate. If the content will hurry up and share. Can you see that? Is that on your screens?
Yeah.
Yes, fabulous. So first thing that is noticeable here is the fact that it's a community interest company. Our profits are reinvested into the data profession within health and care. This is critical. We're here for social good. We want the NHS to be as successful as possible. So if we need to invest in training, development, innovation, any of that, that's why we're set up in that way. You'll see at the bottom the CDAO network, AphA, Davis Field Consulting and Key Analytics. The CDAO network is up there as our president is the chap formerly known as Data Jesus, Mark Farr. And we are working collaboratively with the Chief Data Analytics Officer Network and AphA. Davis Furlong Consulting is my business, and it's up there because it gives me free advertising. No, Ronnie put it up there, not me. And Key Analytics is from our Chief Strategy Officer, Kay Khan. So looking at the main pillars of who we are, the pitch is that we are a think tank, and we'll come on to the council shortly. But we are completely apolitical. With a lot of think tanks, they have a political agenda. They want to do something that is in contrary to government. As far as we're concerned, when the government says this is going to happen, there is very little point in arguing because they don't listen. So we just say, okay, this is the 10-year plan. What do we need to do to maximize the positive outcomes for patients? That is our only agenda, how to make it as good for patients as possible. If along the way we come up with better ideas of how we can achieve that, sure, we'll inform people, but our main purpose is to turn strategy into application, get that policy working for the patients. So co-designing, connecting, all that kind of good stuff. We want to take it away from the data silos that we've had for so long and actually create a network across the NHS of people collaborating and sharing work together. It's clear we are at a tipping point within the NHS at the moment. 18,000 job losses is arguably criminal. AI stepping in, becoming a verb where everyone just AIs it, despite the fact that they don't necessarily know where the data comes from or what it means. We need to be putting a line in the sand saying this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. And that's really why we're here. We want to make sure that the solutions that we make are scalable and moreover ethical. And part of that is sitting in the centre where the NHS England and the CSUs have been ripped out. We want to position ourselves in the centre so that we can liaise across all bodies. We can share good practice where it is possible to share it. Where we can do something for one organisation, we can then provide it for another. And understand that there are thousands of consultancies out there will do that as well, but they will do so at 4 times the price because then they need to make profits for their shareholders. We're interested in doing it because we want to benefit the public good. As a CIC, we are regulated very, very differently to private firms, and our profits have to be shown to be reinvested into social good. However, we are also free from the direct influence of government. So I don't have to tell you guys because you're in the thick of it day in, day out. But whenever we get a new government, they want to put their stamp on things. And what do they want to put their stamp on? Well, the NHS. The NHS is fantastic. So let's say that it was all our idea. And every time they do it, there's a massive upheaval, people lose jobs, and nothing seems to get any better. The reason for that is there is never any consistency there. Something has always changed. At the Data Observatory, we want to be that consistency. So we want to be the ones who are here helping everyone maintain the kind of daily output that they're forced to doing by themselves. And as I'm sure you'll appreciate, it's very isolating when you find you just have to keep your head down and just keep doing what you're doing. We want to be a support organisation behind that enables you to do it collaboratively. So this bit here, the what we do is really 3 pillars. The first pillar is a part of the reinvestment idea. We offer bursaries for those talented people who are looking to develop their careers, postgraduate qualifications, that kind of thing. And we also offer fellowships for those who have demonstrated outstanding ability in the field. And we've got a list of 6 fellows that we're starting off with at our first strategic think tank in September 24th. So that's the reinvestment side. There's the consultancy side. Now, this is the bit that sits in the middle, and starts and offers the services that the centre is now going to lose. In an ideal world, what we'd do is we'd step in and say, all these services that still need to carry on, come and work for us, and we'll continue providing those services. It's not that easy in the NHS because there's terms and conditions and all the rest of it. But ultimately, we want to be the ones, if not providing that service, ensuring the collaboration can continue so that that work can continue to be done. Part of it as well is we are setting up a list of alumni for those colleagues who have left the NHS so that we can keep them in touch with the work that we're doing, so that should they want to return, they are not completely cut off. They know what's going on. They still feel part of the NHS family. And also for those who haven't taken another role, we're keeping them as a bench as well for work that they do through us as part of the consultancy. The final part is the thought leadership. And this is where we have a truly fantastic council that has 50 we have 50 members of it. Phenomenal minds like James, like Andy Main from Somerset, like Jess Morley from Yale University, Professor Samuel Gray, some of the real leading spotlights in healthcare thinking, so that fundamentally we can take an idea, a question, and we'd all gather together like we're doing in September. I'll lock them in a room and say, here's the question. You're not coming out until you've answered it. I might get in trouble for taking that approach, but that's the fundamentals behind it. There is no political agenda for the think tank, and no one is there to get their own way, purely about maximizing outcomes for patients. There's an article I put on the website about the hive mind, but there is a real quantum brain happening when you get that people of that level in the same room together. This is how we see things fitting. You've got AphA, and AphA is an organization that inspires data professionals. I know I was inspired the first time I encountered them, and that's why I've been doing what I've been doing ever since. You've got the Chief Data and Analytics Officer network that inspires leadership. Same principles as for AphA, but for the Chief Data Officers. The Data Observatory is there to inspire change. We are there to facilitate the collaboration and working together across organizations, and to carry it out ourselves where need be. We're here to support you guys in doing what you do, and if that means breaking ground ourselves, then that's what we do. We are not launching another organization. We're building what's missing or what's being ripped out of the NHS. There are functions within NHS England data teams that are being discontinued that need to continue, and similarly within the CSUs, which is why we're in talks to see which of those is essential that we carry on no matter what, and which of those would be also useful to have as well. It's not just NHS. We are very much across health and social care. I think to talk of NHS without social care is to not understand the ecosystem in its truest form. These parts are so connected. We need to make sure that every policy that we make that spills out of one of the organizations takes into account social care as well. And by social care, I just don't mean local authority social care. I mean voluntary services, charities, lots of other organizations that will contribute to it. We're complementary, not competitive. We're going to map what works and amplify it. And if there's nothing there, then we'll develop. We're not here to take work from anyone in health and care. We're here to protect the work that's going to go missing otherwise. This is what's really speaking to the private sector side of things. as Jandan mentioned in the comments there, the NHS will place value in paying for a service from private sector consultancies, despite the fact that 9 times out of 10, the substantive staff within health and social care has not only better knowledge, but greater application of how to achieve the things that they wish to achieve. And usually what happens is consultancies come in and say, oh, so how do you do this? Then how do you do this? And okay, map it down, stick their badge on it and say, there you go. And then charge 4 times the salaries to achieve it. That is something that we want to turn away. We want to still have that service there, to still have that function, because there is advantage in having an external organization coming in and say, these are the changes you need to make. The biggest one of which is plausible deniability. But also, if you're making changes that are unpopular, you don't necessarily always want those to come from within the organization. So we can take that burden as well. But for at least half of the money that is being paid out to consultancies is being leached into the pockets of shareholders. And I'm not an anti-capitalist. I think that's absolutely fine. I just don't think it is a very pragmatic way to fund and operate a public sector organization. Everything we do is going to be publicly available. Our code, our work is open source, ready for reuse. Our knowledge, our tools, expertise, everything is serving the public good, and it's available on the website. I mentioned a thought leadership piece. There are a dozen or so on there at the moment. Mine are the best, obviously, best humor, naturally. But actually surrounded by people who really do know what they're talking about, as opposed to me. So get yourself on there, have a look. Lots of really exciting stuff. Basically, formula of this, our DNA, it's quite simple. Collaborators, not competitors. We want to turn insights into action. There is no point in having insight if nothing is done from it. And that's where our kind of lobbying efforts will come from. We lead with authenticity. Now, that sounds a bit like guff, I know, but it isn't. We are honest. We want to show that we care about what we do. And if that means making decisions, or if that means saying things that people aren't comfortable with, then we will have to say them. But we'll do it in a way that is fair and inclusive and as supportive as we can for everybody. And at the moment, that authenticity revolves around the work that is being done by the centre. It's hard to move away from that. There are lots of other things that we care about, but the work that's being done from the centre that is currently being ripped out is something which is obvious on our sleeve. We want to empower a resilient and future-ready data workforce, and part of that is by being untouchable from the government. I don't think any of us are, but the fact that we're non-NHS, non-social care in that regard means they can't just say, right, we're going to close you next week, because they probably would. So we can provide that backbone, that stability, that point of reassurance that you know is always there. And we do care deeply about social good. If I felt that was disingenuous, I wouldn't have put my name to the Data Observatory. It is why I do what I do. I set my own business up because I take value in doing the right thing. And the doing the right thing is that social good element. It's the protecting the data profession, promoting the data profession. And I am very proud to say that all my board members, colleagues, feel exactly the same way. And we are designed to adapt and scale, very, very fluid in that regard, but we can move from a 0 to 100 person project overnight. That's the way we've set up our board and have access through the council to be able to facilitate that. And here we go. Here's the likely lot. There's Ronnie in the top left-hand corner, our CEO. Mark Farr, our president. All bow before him. We're very fortunate to have Kate Chima as our Chief Impact Officer from UCL Partners, and the delightful Kate Khan as our Chief Strategy Officer. There's some ugly mug in the middle there, and we have recently confirmed and signed up Sam Riley from Making Data Count as our Chief Transformation Officer. Our council is led by the National Chair, Hassan Chowdhury, with the inimitable Neil Morgan as Deputy Chair. And like I say, I mentioned, we've got 50 people on the council underneath them. And as we see there, they're the two aspects that will be contributing to our governance. The council will lead us into things that we should be looking at, where we in our ivory towers may not necessarily see. And similarly, the fellowships, we are bringing them on board so that we can have their feedback into the operation of the organisation as well. Loads of infographics. I don't like infographics, but there we are, they're on there. Delivering value-based care. Obviously, we've mentioned Professor Neil Gray. That's some work we've been doing with him and ICB population. Thought leadership, bursaries and fellowships. And then we've got the inaugural event, October 2026, which is already wrong in September. We brought it forward because we were too excited. But this isn't just for people who are regarded as the top of their field, because everyone is the top of their field if you look at very closely at what you mean by that field. There are things that only we can do as individuals in a certain way that no one else can. And that's why we are happy if you come up with a report or a piece of thought leadership or a blog or an article that you think is worthy of sharing, send it to us and we'll put it on the website and publicize it on the socials. We want to share your knowledge. If you want to share it, we want to get it out there. By all means, get involved in national policies and discussions and influence and strategy to raise your profile. If there are things that you want to do to get involved with the Data Observatory, please email ceo@dataobservatory.com. No, .org.uk. Oh, the commercial in me again. ceo@dataobservatory.org.uk. I say that because it goes to Ronnie and he has to answer them. No, you could send it to me as well if you wanted to, which is hdavis@dataobservatory.org.uk. But Ronnie will be the one that makes the ultimate decisions on it. And if you want to accelerate your career, if you want to stand out and get further qualifications and push things further, then let us know. The revenue that we generate is designed to help you in your studies and your future career ambitions. It's part of the reason that we're here. I gave you the wrong email address. You're supposed to send it to office@dataobservatory.org.uk. That will get a quicker response than either mine or Ronnie's, because that one goes to Lizzie. And there is the website to have a look at, have a scan for the QR code if that's easier. But I believe, and this is where I get on my soapbox now, is I believe that whenever anything goes wrong with any massive organisation that's government run, we as citizens have a responsibility to put it right. And this is us putting our money where our mouth is, to put it right, to create and further enhance that community that AphA has begun, and it's been taken further forward by the CDAON. this is us now doing the practical steps of taking that community to, sorry if this sounds terribly militant and rage against the machine, but take the power back. We know what needs to be done. I don't think officials in Whitehall have the same idea. So let's support them as well as each other. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on the matter. It's quite a brief little presentation. Like I say, it's because I was more interested in hearing what you want to know more than anything. So I can hand you back to my colleague, Jane, who can field any questions that you may have. Please have loads of really horrible, difficult ones. I like thinking on my feet. I think on my feet because people accuse me of talking out of mine anyway.
Thank you, Hugh. So obviously, Chandan made that comment there. Just a little bit about how do people follow what the Data Observatory is up to? Brilliant.
Yes. Very much on LinkedIn. All our articles get reproduced and pushed out on LinkedIn. And so will any calls to actions that we have. The website is very much Ronnie's baby and being updated on a regular basis with new articles and such like. So they would be the two areas that would be the most immediate what's going on. But if there's any more specifics you have, you can obviously get in touch with us.
And I think also AphA, if there's things going on that we would put things in the magazines, or if you have any events, we put them on the AphA pages as well. And Dan's got a question there, Dan from Cardiff. Any footprint outside of England?
Oh, well, see, Cardiff and Vale, is it? Yes. We are not just an English firm, CIC, call it what you will. We are looking to support all organisations across the 4 home nations. Things, as we know, are very differently set up in the other 3 home nations. And our focus has very much been on England at the moment because of what's happening in the centre. But we are equally here to support the other home nations as well, particularly Wales being the greatest country on earth. With whatever we can do there, we will. So it's true, because I went home during COVID and I went across the Beacons and I saw God walking around. I said, "What are you doing there?" He said, "Working from home."
They got Welsh cakes and rugby, and that's about it, really.
Oh, don't get started on Welsh cakes. So yes, we do, but we don't have any activities in those areas yet.
Okay, right. So that follows on to Joe's comment or question. Do you plan to get involved in the World Health Organization policy formation on public health data strategies? Good question.
Very good question.
And if not, why not?
The answer to the question, in the fullest degree of honesty, is no. A slightly fuller answer to that question is not yet. And I think that would be a very good thing for us so to do, which is why I'm writing it down.
Yeah, I just want to say time is running out on this. So I've been waving a flag about this in various places, probably the wrong places for a while, because there's so much going on at the World Health Organization in terms of health data. And I think it's a missed opportunity for us as health data experts to not be involved and shape that going forwards. Because it's the person with the biggest wallet who's going to be influencing it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, was that too cynical? Can I say that kind of thing?
You can say anything you like to me. Yeah, no, that's something that needs immediate investigation. Thank you for that, Joe. I will. Yeah, it sounds like it's in Mark's Mark's field. He loves a bit of this. But Mark's on holiday at the moment, so I will actually look into that myself. There is no better organization on the planet, as I'm aware, that will have a better insight into supporting public health data strategies for the World Health Organization. So yeah, great idea on it.
I've probably got some public health contacts as well that might be useful for you to
No doubt.
get in touch with. And Jeff Smalley's obviously very involved in World Health Organization stuff. So
That's a valid point, yeah.
Yeah, she might be. These are the ideas we need. These is why we have these sessions. These little chats are really useful.
Totally, and that's it. It's a community. It's a network. It only works when we get together and become louder than our own voice. I start singing an anthem in a minute. But yeah, we have to work together. You know, it's the only way that we can become more than the job that we do. If you want to become more than the job, I appreciate that some people will perfectly be happy coming in, clicking a keyboard for 7.5 hours and going home. I can totally dig that. I also understand that some of us want to do a bit more. Donna, I can see you thinking. I know when you're thinking.
I'm not thinking. No, I don't do thinking. I've just been delving into the resources on the Data Observatory website, and I'm just amazed that I haven't seen anything as great as health data literacy. In any other environment or wrapper, yeah, I can start to promote what you do straight away.
I would just like to say a massive thank you to the lady on the call, Chandan, for actually producing that
Fabulous.
health data literacy piece, because it is amazing. If you've got any colleagues who don't work within the data environment but want to know a little bit more and how to understand and work with data, please signpost them to the website, to Chandan's link on there, because that is amazing. It's something we've been missing for a very long time, and even taken up instantly by the Digital Academy. Thank you for that, Donna.
Smashing. Every operational leader should have to do it as part of their mandatory training, I think.
Concurred. Anything else anyone would like to know? Any ideas? If you think of it afterwards, by all means, send me an email directly. More than happy to chat about things further on. But if not, thank you all so much for showing an interest. The observatory means a huge amount to me. There are aspects to the NHS that need saving from the government. The NHS isn't broken. The way the government deals with the NHS is. And I think if we can take a step in the direction of protecting the NHS from that link, then I think we'll go in the right way to make the NHS a little more future-proof.
And of course, now we've got a new Secretary of State for Health.
Of course we do. Who did he put in the end?
Yvette Cooper?
Yvette Cooper.
Okay. Like it matters. We always held on to the thought that maybe this time it will. Maybe this time it will.
We'll see.
Cool. I'll be there
Put
then.
more money
And we'll
into
push
social
70.
care.
Chanda. Yes, Chanda.
Hi here. I'd just like to say, so I've been invited to be a senior advisor, but I think it's not really like, oh, I want to raise my profile. It's just that the people in the Data Observatory, they make me feel more motivated and passionate about my field. So associating myself with Data Observatory kind of forces me to up my game as well. So I think it's the people who form part of Data Observatory are all very passionate people wanting to make a difference within our sphere of influence. So thank you, Hugh. You conveyed your passion about your reasons for wanting to be part of this as well. So
I mean,
thanks.
ultimately, thank you for saying thank you, but it's you guys that make me feel like that. So, you know, you're the ones that I'm not I'm not an analyst. I'm not a medical professional. I've become more analytical since starting my own business and getting more qualified in it as I've gone along. But it's only because of the work that you guys do and my wish to see it promoted that I do what I do. It's all from you guys. See the way I deflected that then?
Yeah.
And of course, they are all volunteers on the observatory, aren't they? They all do it for.
Yeah, it is all volunteer. The work that we get in, when we get work in, we'll pay ourselves for that.
But your board, the board and the
But,
council,
yeah.
it's all people who have that same passion for wanting to make change.
I have to put up with regular board meetings with Mark Farr and Ronnie, and I don't get paid for it. Can you believe that? Oh, thank you,
Should be
Joe.
some sort of compensation, but you know.
Danger money, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, handy link there from Joe. Excellent.
Very handy.
Super.
I've unless there are any other further questions, I know these L&Ls, as I like to call them, usually only last 45 minutes. We've got 4 minutes back for yourselves if you want to, or hit me with another question. Just don't make it about airspeed velocities of swallows.
They last an hour actually, but hey, you can have 19 minutes back.
I know they were booked for an hour, but as you say, they generally last 45 minutes. Donna.
Where the money for the bursaries coming from? Is that a consequence of the consultancy work and just the reinvestment of that money?
We have a highly accomplished and talented commercial lead who is also raising sponsorship for the Data Observatory.
Very good. Thanks, that'll do.
Yeah, we're going to get some sponsors in. We're sponsoring our strategic thought leadership events and partnering with various organizations on different individual projects. So we'll write a white paper in conjunction with a partner, and they get their name on our insight.
Very good. Thank you.
Need to get a bit more in to get some more bursaries. But it's hardly surprising with the cuts being made everywhere at the moment that people are a little hesitant to spend. But that's all right, because if I don't get sponsorships, I'll just beat them up. Take it off them. Cool. Last call. Any more for any more?
Was that something, Jonathan? Pleasure. Cool. Well, in that case, guys, I will leave you to the rest of your days. Thank you all so much for showing an interest. Been really nice to see you all, and yeah, let's keep this thing going.
Thanks, you.